What is going on, everybody? It's Dr. Johnson. We're here with an unscripted episode of a new episode of Unscripted. It's been a couple years, and we're doing this a little bit differently. I've got like a couple items here on my list of things I want to talk about, and just go over my thoughts on professional wrestling in April of 2024. Go over things from the beginning of the year to now, and spend an hour or so here just talking about everything. One of the first things I want to talk about is this rise of soft ground wrestling Uganda. Have you seen this? Like, I'm sure everyone has, where you have this group of wrestlers in Uganda wrestling on a not in a ring. They're in like a plot of land built with like there's no ring, no nothing. It's just soft ground, as they say. They're having matches. Like there's a YouTube channel for this. There's clips on X and Twitter, whatever you want to call it, like all these other social medias. And this honestly is one of the coolest things I think I have seen over the last few years. Like you can just see the heart. Like these guys are going out, guys and girls. There's women there too, I'm pretty sure, going out there and just killing their bodies on the grass. Like we have backyard wrestling here in the states, but we actually have people who do backyard wrestling usually have a makeshift ring. And you think that's crazy? These people out there wrestling on ground. I thought I'd never see something like this, and now they got this heel, like white guy called Mister. I think it's called Mister White, and he's like honestly being a white guy, like an evil white guy in um, a Ugandan based wrestling promotion like this is honestly like that's just easy. You just have to go out there and just be easy money. Like you want to see this guy get his ass kicked. You want to see this guy go out there and these Ugandan wrestlers going out there and beat the hell out of him. That's just great wrestling. Will Ospreay's talked putting this the Maxim Male Models MXM actually appeared and went to Uganda. There's a video clip of that now of them confronting Mr. White. I think that's his name. And I just think that is awesome. That is like a really cool thing to see. And I remember there was a Kickstarter a couple weeks ago that they needed, not a Kickstarter, a what is it, a GoFundMe for them to try and keep like pay to rent the rent for the plot of land. Well, Osprey actually, what was it? He donated twice to this. Others as well. I think it was. I think this is honestly, if you want to see something that's just pure old good old fun professional wrestling, you should check out Ugandan, soft ground wrestling Uganda. It is definitely like I think it's really cool, and anybody who wants to sit there and review the show, the stuff that's like great. They do have a wrestling YouTube. I might try and get the link to that and put it down in the comments in the description below. It is definitely something when it first started up. It's like I didn't expect to see this be something that would be like, oh, this is great, this is awesome. Like you're like seeing these people go out there and like fight into watering holes and stuff. It's like where has this been all our lives? I don't know how long it's. I don't know if it's been like it's like something that just got started last year or earlier this year or something, and or is it something that's been around for a few years and just now finding prominence because of YouTube, because of social media. But definitely, in my opinion, one of the coolest things I've ever seen. All right. After that, let's talk about Rossi Ogawa, Stardom, his exit, and his creation of Marigold. As we know, it was in, I believe, February. Rossi Ogawa was fired from Stardom. I mean, the guy created Stardom. It was bought by Bushiroad. He wasn't happy with the fact that obviously he wasn't happy that he was not in charge of Stardom anymore. So obviously, after like there was like this big, huge thing, and this has a big effect on All Elite Wrestling's partnership with New Japan Pro Wrestling, Bushi Road, and all that. Is that Rossi Ogawa? You can say whatever you want. This dude was 100% the reason why you did not see Stardom talent at Forbidden Door 1 and Forbidden Door 2. Because it's kind of funny that literally the WrestleMania weekend after he is fired from Stardom and Okada, not Kazuchika Okada, but another Okada, takes over as president of Stardom. You see Azumi face Tony Storm the week after WrestleMania. You see Mina Shirakawa have at the week of Big Business, the night of Big Business, tape a match for Ring of Honor against Anna Jay. Possibility of Anna Jay going to Stardom. She's had matches. She's had a match with Mina Shirakawa. She's had like run-ins with Mariah May. She's hooked up and had looks like she has like a kinship with Queen's Quest Azumi, which by the way Azumi had the second highest rated segment match quarter hour in for Collision this past Saturday. So that just tells you that the woman who is 21 years old has been doing this for 10 years is definitely a draw for AEW. It's a shame that these women are back in Japan already. Mina went back. Azumi went back. Azumi says has been told that she is going to be coming back to America for the um, Forbidden Door coming up. So we're definitely going to be getting Azumi versus what? Doing what? I don't know. But it's great to see that Stardom having Roxy being fired, you're starting to see Azumi and others. And then you had that great 6-woman tag team match with Azumi, Make, I think I can't think of the whole full name, but like there was like a great 6-woman tag team match on Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor, the WrestleMania weekend. And it's all convenient that all this happened after Rossi left and got fired from Stardom. Why did he leave Stardom? Obviously, one, he created Stardom, and I know Asuka I think alluded to this in one of her um, posts or something somewhere that Stardom was created to combat her. I don't know how true that is, but he created Stardom. It eventually got born in the Bushi Road. Obviously, he didn't like the way that things were being done or being run by Bushi Road with Stardom. He wanted to, branch out on his own, and he wanted to take and like poach every single person he could from Stardom and take them into this new promotion, which we didn't know until a week this past week. Now, obviously, we've had this big hate from AEW. Oh, they're poaching a New Japan talent. New Japan's partnership with AEW has been detrimental to New Japan because AEW stealing Okada. AEW stole Jay White. No, AEW didn't steal anybody. You want to see what poaching is? It's what Rossy Ogawa was doing at Stardom. He was working there. He was whatever his position was, and he was going to every one of these women and being like, "Listen, let's get out of here. Let's drop this company. We'll make a new company, and I'll do all this with you." So you want to see what real poaching is? You look at what Rossi was doing in Stardom. What Tony Khan was doing with AEW is not poaching because when a talent's contract is up, what happens? They leave when they don't get the payment that they feel like they should be. Now Okada does not. I'm sure it was like one of the highest paid guys in the company. I don't think it had anything to do with pay. Yes, he's getting paid a good bit to be in AEW, and also wrestle 10% at a 10% clip. That's what we're getting from that. Is that like if you're disappointed in any Okada match and you're not getting like 5-star match Okada, this is the Okada you're getting. This is the Okada you were always going to get in AEW. You're not getting New Japan Pro Wrestling Okada, just like you're not getting New Japan Pro Wrestling Jay White. You will get probably New Japan Pro Wrestling as close to New Japan Pro Wrestling Ospreay as you can because that dude is a machine. That dude is a beast. He does not have an off button. He wants to go out there and be the top guy, be the face, be the guy for AEW, which we'll get to all of that stuff later. But obviously, Stardom was like found out that Mousy was trying to like poach all their talent, and pretty much he wanted to take every single person he could from Stardom, all their big names. Julia is obviously going to be in WWE eventually. He definitely had an inroad with WWE with this new Marigold, which is going to be starting up in May. Julia is going to be there for that first show versus in a tag team match, which we only know of one of her opponents, which is Sari, who was in NXT 2.0. You know, the Japanese girl who would have a medallion on her. She'd dress up as a schoolgirl. She'd walk out and do this mist, and she'd be in her wrestling gear. because that wasn't um what do I want to say? That there was nothing wrong with that gimmick at all. No, none at all. But she left. She went back, and now she's going on. And I feel like what Rossi is hoping he can do and pull out is get Kyrie and Io, which he did talk about how he's hoping to get Kyrie and Io for a Marigold match show later in the year. So don't know what's going on with that. We only know one of those matches. Stardom's also having itself a little bit of trouble because their next show, which I believe is Queen's Quest, also Queendom. Not even the full matches. Not even the full match card has been announced as far as I can tell. But yeah, he got fired. He wants to start his own company, which I, when it comes to when it comes to Japanese wrestling, when it comes to Joshi wrestling, a lot of the women in Joshi are freelancers. A lot of them. They don't go out and sign a big long contract or something. And one of the biggest issues with Stardom, New Japan, even this Marigold, and any other wrestling is that the yen is down in such a bad way that you're going to see talent go to AEW, go to WWE because they want to be paid for what they feel they're worth. This is why Will Ospreay left. This is why Jay White left last year. This is why Tama Tonga left. Well, it's one of the reasons Tama Tonga left because he wanted to be closer to his family, which is kind of funny because he went off to go work for WWE and not in NXT, which we'll get to that stuff later too. So yeah, Marigold. Like one, Horacio Ogawa is a scumbag because the dude, if you wanted to leave Stardom, you wanted to start your own promotion up, just be like, you know what, peace, I'm out. I'm not happy with the way you guys are running my promotion, my baby. I created this, you did not. I did. I'm gonna go off and do this, and just do that. But no, he wanted to be a scumbag. He wanted to block AEW from having Stardom talent on him. Like we had the whole thing like Julia is coming to WWE. AEW didn't even make a play for her. AEW didn't even get a chance to talk to Julia. I have a very good feeling about. Like I guarantee you, they had no contact with Julia at all because Rossy Ogawa did not want him to have any contact with them. Now, also, there's this thing that comes up that this post that came up on X, where it's like the social media person from Marigold was like they're hoping to find any unmarried woman between 13 and 30 to come join them and they will teach you how to wrestle and become a big star. And I see a lot of controversy about that but you don't understand the Japanese culture that a lot of the people, like if you're advertising a married woman and who is also a professional wrestler, more likely than not, you're not going to get many fans, especially male fans, to want to go and support them and buy their merch and be there to see them at shows. It's not with the whole yeah, of course, yeah, they could have worded it better, 13 to 40, 30, which means obviously wrestling. I mean, Riho started at age 9. Let's be honest. Wrestling, pro wrestlers outside of America, mostly start really young. Yes, I know you got the Nick Waynes, the Billy Starks, Izzy Moreno, who's just starting out. Shout out to her. I can't wait to see where she goes. Start out when they're like 16, 17 years old, maybe somewhere around that. But in Mexico, I believe Rey Mysterio Jr. started at like age 9. Riho started at 9. We here in America have this big thing about for whatever reason, boxing, like people who want to box can start at like the age of 5. Jiu-jitsu, I believe the same thing. You can start at like the age of 5, but professional wrestling, oh no, we can't. We can't. I remember speaking Izzy Moreno when she was like 12 years old, taking a choke slam in a controlled environment, getting hate from for her parents for being reckless because she was like a young child taking a choke slam. I saw the choke slam. It wasn't like she was getting like pulled up and dropped down. The person was like gave her like the softest choke slam I have ever seen. But it's like we got like America, we just have that problem of like we can't allow, for some reason, like you have to be like at least 13, like 16, 17 years old, maybe 13, 14, depending on where you're at, to where you like start be able to wrestle professionally. Yet you have amateur wrestling in high school, in middle school. So I don't understand why there's such a problem. But over in Japan, they start young. I'm sure, yeah, they said 13 to 30. I'm pretty sure there are many Joshi wrestlers who started. I mean, Azumi started. She's 21 years old. She started at the age of 11. She's been in the wrestling business for 10 years. So don't like anybody who's like getting all controversial, like saying that post was controversial. I don't understand why. It's just, yeah, it looks weird to us, but somebody sees that in Japan and they're like, oh, okay, that's nothing different. That's nothing new. Just don't be post selling magazines with the women who are 13 to 18, 13 to 17, is Graveur models, which that's another whole different bag of worms I don't want to get into. So yeah, Rossio Gower, he's a scumbag, but I don't. I wish the women of Marigold luck on in May for them to see them succeed. I don't know. I'm sure they're going to be fans of those women who are going to follow those women. Julia, who's going to be going to WWE soon. Which, speaking of Julia, as I got her name on the tongue, apparently there is talk that her debut is going to be, I think it's July's Heatwave premium live event for NXT, and she's going to be challenging for either the new North American Women's Championship or the NXT Women's Championship. And I'm like, hold on, and don't you think for 1 second Julie is coming in, challenging for this title, and losing her first match? Give me a break. Give me a break. Not happening. She's coming in and she's going to be, which I don't know what they're doing with the North American Championship for the women. They had Ava announce it at Stand and Deliver, and from what I saw from NXT on Tuesday, there was no talk of a tournament or anything else. So I have no earthly idea what they are doing for this NXT Women's North American Championship. Which, granted, I think an NXT Women's North American Championship is better than having tag team titles. I think that's better. Just like I think what I think they should do when Jade and Bianca win the women's tag team titles, because let's be honest, they're going to. They should do a breakup thing where they dissolve the tag team titles, but because Bianca and Jade are the last two champions, they should have to face each other one on one at, say, Money in the Bank, Backlash, whatever. No, Money in the Bank because they won the titles at Backlash, and the winner will become the first ever U.S. or Intercontinental Champion, whatever you want to go with. But yeah, so Julia, it's like wait a minute, Julia's coming in. Her first match is going to be at Heatwave, which is fine, big event, big match, whatever. And she's getting a title shot immediately. Asuka came in, had to be in NXT for months, fighting everybody and anybody to get a title shot, to get her first title shot, which she of course won at NXT Takeover, I believe, Dallas. Kairi Sane had to come in, and she didn't have a great title run. Unfortunately, she got sandwiched in between Shayna Baszler, which at the time Shayna Baszler was one of the hottest acts in NXT, so there was no way she was not going to be champion for long. It's like I wish Kairi would have had a better run as champion, but you know. And obviously, Io had to go through a gimmick change. She had to go through an entire attitude change just to even sniff the women's championship. But yet, Julia, who I feel bad, not really, but I do feel bad at Stand and Deliver. They did the small set for. They've been like WWE's been doing small sets because they want to sell more tickets, and they did this for Stand and Deliver. So when Julia was shown, she couldn't see the big huge, like, they have that big huge like monitor thing above them to see that she was being shown on screen. If they would have had the big, huge Tron out front like they usually do, she would have seen herself and she would have realized, oh, wow, they're cheering for me. Of course, William Regal's right there and Rossio Gavo's right beside him, which was weird how they had that all set up. But she had to be told that they're cheering for you, which is why if you look at video back, she's looking like she's like, wow, and like not understanding. But the fact that she's coming in, I mean, it's obviously it shows that they're going to treat her like a big deal, and she's going to be like somebody that they're going to put the rocket, like put the whole entire rocket behind, and strap the rocket to her, and just make her the face of NXT. I feel like she's going to win the NXT Women's Championship or the North American Championship right off the bat, and go from there. So, yeah, that's all I have on Rossi, Stardom's exit, and the creation of Marigold. Now, here's a subject that I hear so much about, and it kind of annoys me to no end. Why is Athena in a Ring of Honor? Why is Athena stuck in Ring of Honor? Why is she not on AEW television when you have, and when you say the way that the other AEW, the other Ring of Honor titles are showcased, you have Mark Briscoe running around with the North with the and the Ring of Honor Championship now on TV. Eddie Kingston before him, Claudio before him, the tag team titles, the trios titles, all these other Ring of Honor titles. But for whatever reason, minus Battle of the Belts this past Saturday, and one or two other times, Athena has been absent from AEW. Well, with the fact that a couple of reasons. One, Athena is the face of Ring of Honor. I do not care. I do not care what Mark Briscoe does. He's going to be on the show tonight as I'm recording this. You guys will see this on Friday. But he is going to be doing a proving ground match. That's cool. Great to get the title on there because it's like even like Eddie Kingston's entire time as Ring of Honor champion, he was almost never featured on television, on Ring of Honor television. Even Claudio was. Claudio would have a proving ground match all the time. But he's still. Athena is the absolute quintessential face of the brand. Now, going into Supercard, I was like, I don't care who faces Eddie Kingston. It needs to be Athena and Shida in the main event. Then they went with Mike Briscoe, and I'm like, still, Athena, Shida in the main event. Until you realize that this is going to be Mark Briscoe, 11 years to the day, winning the Ring of Honor World title. The same title his brother won 11 years to the day. And they're going to have this big, huge moment. He's going to come out to bring me, give me back my bullets, which that's a cool thing. Even though Tony Khan does not need to be in the Ring of Honor media scrum, gloating about the fact that he just spent more money on that than he did on anything else. On anything else. So, but everyone's like, why is Athena not in Ring of Honor? Why is Athena stuck in Ring of Honor? Why is she not in AEW? Why? And the real simple answer is, look how little TV time AEW Women's Division gets. Can someone please tell me what Athena would be doing right now if she was on AEW television? She's not winning the Women's World title. She's not winning the TBS title. So what is she doing? Mm-hmm. So she comes out. She gets a match with Tony Storm. She gets a match with Mercedes, which I'm sure everybody wants. She loses both of those, and then she's off to catering. To do what? Nothing. She vanishes. She might have a story here and there, or she can be used to her maximum in Ring of Honor, in which she can be the face of that company. She can hold that championship, which I honestly do not think she's losing that title until the middle of September, or she's probably going to hold it till Final Battle this year, and she's going to drop it to Billy Starks. That is the obvious way that goes. And I feel that Tony Khan wants her to be the overall longest reigning champion in that company history, which, if my math is correct, is September 15th, 2024, as she will pass Samoa Joe as the longest reigning champion in company history. So that is, yeah, it's just everything that you've seen, and I've watched everything. I've seen the creation of the Mignolo, the MIT, It has done wonders for Billy Starks. Billy Starks is a much better character overall since she's joined up with Athena and everything. Like just watching her fake that neck injury and just that look of like I'm gonna kill this woman, like that psycho look on her face as she's choking out Queen Aminata to win the television championship, be the first ever women's television champion, was just mwah. You don't get this Billy Starks, you don't get any of this without Athena. So what can Athena do? Why would you want to have Athena who would barely see any TV time? The women's division in Ring of Honor, yeah, it's not as solid when it comes to like star power, but you have Athena, Billy Starks is becoming a long way, Queen Aminata is getting her spot. Look at Sky Blue. This is another thing. Look at Sky Blue. Sky Blue at the beginning of 2023 was doing nothing. She goes down to Ring of Honor. She has a nice little mini run down there. I mean, she goes down there. She has a nice, great match against Athena for the Ring of Honor Women's World Title. Loses, comes up to AEW, and becomes one of the most reliable talents for Tony Khan to do stuff with. I mean, Sky Blue for a while there was getting a match on Dynamite and Collision weekly. Then she's joined up with Julia Hart, who right now apparently is suffering from a shoulder injury. That's why the match you saw on Wednesday was not a traditional, mixed tag team match, and why they did the injury angle, which we'll speculate on that later, or not at all. It's obviously Chris Statlander is doing all the attacking from behind. It's not she's not slick at all. But just like look at everything. It's like I get it. I get it. If you could make Athena the face of the women's division in AEW, and that's not gonna happen because you got Mercedes Moné there, you got all these other women there. Athena just she fits better in Ring of Honor. I would love to see her being a focal point of AEW television, but where it is right now, it just doesn't make any sense. So yeah, what do I want to see Athena and Mercedes? Absolutely. Do I want to see Athena and Timeless Tony Storm? Not really. The Timeless Tony Storm gimmick is more of a character gimmick than actually want to be wrestler. I mean, she had that banging match with Azumi, which was her best match as Timeless Tony Storm. So, yeah. But yes, I like another thing that's like it's just she gets used better, she gets more TV time. What I love about Ring of Honor and how it's being done is that you don't have to worry about time cues. You don't have to worry about time constraints. Tony Khan can have an hour of Ring of Honor. He can have 2 hours of Ring of Honor. He can have 3 hours of Ring of Honor, but I never want to see him do another 3 hour episode of Ring of Honor where he took 2 or 3 episodes of Ring of Honor that was supposed to be 3 weeks, threw them all together because he wanted Katsuo Shibata versus Alex Coughlin in Vegas to air on Ring of Honor the week after it was taped. Which, funny enough, that match between Katsuo Shibata and Alex Coughlin was aired, I believe, one day or a couple mere hours before Alex Coughlin, who had to recently retire because of injuries, he joined Bullet Club last year with the War Dogs, which was crazy to see. But yeah, everybody's sitting there going like, "Oh, Athena should be on TV every week." The women in AEW barely get TV time as it is. Where does Athena fit into AEW right now? I really want somebody to sit there and tell me where does Athena fit in AEW right now. She doesn't. Not that she couldn't, but she doesn't. She is better served working in Ring of Honor, being the face of that company, being the champion that everybody like. When you think of Ring of Honor under Tony Khan, you think of Athena and that women's division and a couple other things, but the number one thing you think of is Athena and that women's title in the women's division. Speaking of things that I can think of that I'm not really like outside of Athena, she's killing it. She's awesome. I just hope this doesn't happen to her. But my thoughts on super long title reigns. We just had Roman Reigns lose his title to Cody Rhodes. You just had which was over 1,000+ days. I don't think Athena's gonna go that far. That's a little ridiculous. Um, You are sad Rhea Ripley had to vacate her championship because of an injury. That you say accidents happen, but if Liv Morgan doesn't throw her into that wall wrong, then she doesn't have that shoulder injury and she doesn't have to vacate her title, and she would hold the title. And before I get into this, anybody sitting there celebrating the fact that Bianca Belair, like phony. Oh, if Bianca Belair gets to keep her women's title record for the modern era. Give me a fucking break. The modern era died when it changed. The era changed. You know that record, that the modern era record. You're in a new era in WWE. That modern era record goes away. Goes away. It's not that era. Well, not in that era anymore. You're in a new era. They keep saying it to you. New era, new era, new era. So Bianca's modern era record doesn't mean shit anymore. Let it go. But any of you celebrating the fact that she gets to keep her quote unquote modern era record because she's and you're celebrating Rhea Ripley getting injured, fuck off. Go fuck off. That's all I'm gonna say. The fact that you're gonna sit there and celebrate somebody getting legitimately injured just so your precious favorite can keep a record that doesn't even fucking matter anymore, you need to get your fucking head checked. Plain and simple. Now, why am I getting at this? Is that I think that WWE and AEW have really got stopped relying on super long title reigns. There is no reason. Like, I think Mick Foley put it best when he had, I think it was when CM Punk was in his 400 plus day title reign as WWE champion, and he mentioned that he's a 3-time world champion, and his title reigns combined don't even go over, I think, 150 days. It doesn't matter how long the title reign is. Bianca had a 400 plus day title reign, and it was absolutely dog shit. The entire title reign was absolutely dog shit. Half of it was fighting. Yeah, half of it was fighting Damage Control, and the other half was fighting Becky. If I'm correct. Yeah, something like that. And it was absolutely just absolute dog shit. Yeah, you might have had a good match here and there, and I don't blame Bianca, I don't blame Rhea, I don't blame anybody. It's like all come down to booking. Like Rhea Ripley had tied, and this is the thing that people need to also think. They should thank Charlotte 9000, Charlotte Flair, for interrupting Bayley's title run back when Bayley won the SmackDown Women's title from her with Money in the Bank. She had a nice little size run going. Charlotte 9000 had to get a rematch, won the title, held it for 3 days. That was when Bayley turned heel, and killed the Bayley Buddies, which is still one of my all-time favorite moments in SmackDown history. And then she had a 80-day title reign, which Rhea Ripley tied. If that 5-day doesn't happen, Bayley would have had a 500 plus day title run, and all you fucking Bianca Belair stands need to shut the fuck up because you just be happy that happened, or your modern day record would have never happened. Either way, I'm not a fan of these title reigns going past 150, maybe 200 is stretch, because look at how things have gone. Rhea Ripley injured, has to vacate. MJF went 300 plus days, almost 400 days as world champion. I think he went 400 days. I'm not sure, but went all the entire year 2023 as champion until he went one day. He went 364 days as champion in 2023. What happened? Torn labrum, hip issues, just injuries piling up. Yes, Io didn't suffer that. Rhea didn't suffer that until, but it happened for Rhea. But most of the times we're seeing these champions, like Cody Rhodes winning that championship at WrestleMania. The only reason Roman wasn't, he did get injured in that match against Brock. Don't tell me he didn't, because you could just tell him trying to lift off both championships when he won them and he couldn't get his one arm up. Was it a serious injury? No, but he did have an injury. Don't want to say anything else. But you're just seeing these champions continue to rack their bodies to keep a title and hold on to it. Athena, I don't know how. Well, no, Athena, in her match with Billy Starks last year at Final Battle, went in with a broken nose. She missed a month and a half of television because she was recovering from a broken nose. But it's just we keep seeing more and more injuries popping up for these long title reigns. Io got lucky. She never got injured. surprisingly. Seth Rollins had a nice long title run, almost a full year. Bad back. He's had a bad back before he won the world title. He's had a bad back. He had a slight meniscus tear. And it's just, you continue to see these injuries continue to pile up. We don't need people to have 30 to 300 to 400-day title runs. Athena obviously is going to keep her title, barring injury, knock on wood, until she beats Samoa Joe's reign, and then she's going to lose it to Billy Stokes, more than likely. Billy Stokes, I don't see holding that title past Death Before Dishonor, and I'm sure that Queen Aminata is going to get a rematch, and she's going to win that title, and should be the second women's television champion, in my opinion. It's just, I feel like the title reign does not matter if it's 300 days, 100 days, 20 days. If you go out there and you have a fighting champion who goes out there and has a couple good title reigns, couple title victories, and then drops it to somebody who could use the rub, that's fine. The Roman thing was a little ridiculous. I don't think he should have held the title for as long as he did, but they did what they did. Like, the question would have been, how would have things gone had the previous administration still been around? I feel like if Cody Rhodes didn't come back and become, the savior of WWE, as you can say, quote unquote, I don't think they ever had a plan for anybody to beat Roman. I know in WWE 2K24 they had the My Rise, and the male counterpart is Roman Reigns relinquishes his title and goes off to Hollywood. That was the plan. He was going to get his match with The Rock. He was going to beat The Rock. And then he was going to come out the next night on SmackDown, or the next SmackDown, and he was going to relinquish his title and go off to Hollywood. That was the original plan. That's what I feel like the original plan was going to be. Was it going to go over 1,000 days? Probably not. WrestleMania 30, I think WrestleMania 40 would have been like the perfect swan song for for Roman Reigns' title run. Go to WrestleMania 40, win have a match at WrestleMania 39, win it, go all the way through 2023, get to 144, have the match with The Rock, beat The Rock, come out the next week on SmackDown and say, I've done everything I could do. There's no one left. I'm out of here. And I vacate the title as I'm done. And that would have been the actual plan. He would have finished up at WrestleMania 40 regardless. And then Cody came in, and everyone's trying to say, WrestleMania 40 was Endgame. No. Cody Rhodes is I'm pretty sure he's a notorious Star Wars fan. Why has no one correlated the last three WrestleManias to the first original trilogy? WrestleMania 38, Cody Rhodes returning to WWE, the prodigal son, is A New Hope. Everyone's tired of Roman Reigns being champion. They want a new champion. Nobody seems to be able to beat him. Here comes Cody Rhodes, the savior to WWE, A New Hope. Gets a shot at WrestleMania 38-9. He loses. Empire Strikes Back. Then we get to WrestleMania 40. The Return of the Jedi. That is the correlation of those three matches. Those three things. You have the New Hope. Cody comes back. He's the guy that everyone has this new hope for WWE, that we're gonna get somebody to finally beat Roman Reigns, and you get that, but not yet. It's the first portion of this. Then you have the Empire Strikes Back at WrestleMania 39, and then WrestleMania 40 is the Return of the Jedi. It would have been so much more crazier to have that if you would have had Cody Rhodes have his torn pack in 2023 instead of 2022, and then he comes back and wins the Rumble after that. And yes, Cody Rhodes and The Rock coming back to pivot and make all this stuff happen. You get Cody versus Roman at WrestleMania. Would have, if you didn't have Rock come back at all and you were just going straight Cody versus Roman, I guarantee you nobody would have wanted to see Cody win the title, because it would have been the absolute most boring build you have ever seen. Just look at everything that was going on for WrestleMania from the time you had the press conference to WrestleMania itself. Everyone wanted to see Cody versus Rock. Nobody wanted to see Cody versus Roman. I guess a lot of people probably would have been happy to see The Rock beat Roman or take the title from Roman on a random episode of SmackDown, so you get Rock and Cody at WrestleMania. The story, it didn't matter who Cody beat. It did not matter. It could have been Rock. It could have been Roman. It could have been Kevin Owens. It could have been. It doesn't matter. Cody's story was winning the WWE Championship, which is why like him going not going to WrestleMania and winning would have been fine as well. Because honestly, in my opinion, the best storybook ending for Cody Rhodes becoming the guy, quote unquote, which he's not, and winning and finishing his story would have been WWE booking Madison Square Garden for a pay per view and having Cody Rhodes win it in the same building his father got the title yanked away from him. But that's just me. But like everyone just talking about like Cody should hold the title for a year. No. Cody Rhodes, like Seth is out for now. Roman's not coming back anytime soon. Rock is gone. This is the can Cody Rhodes draw well? Can Cody Rhodes get the interest continued? Because we've already seen it in ticket sales. Not too badly, of course, obviously, but Cody Rhodes, like I'm telling you right now, Cody Rhodes had his swan song for Monday Night Raw until the draft, at least on Monday. The next, I think, what we have, what an entire Monday Night. Yeah, the next episode of Monday Night Raw is going to struggle. Seth is off getting healed. Becky, unless Becky comes back to take that women's championship, she's gone too. All these other like no Rock, no Roman, no Cody, like no Cody, no Seth. There's no big. I mean, they want Jey Uso. They want Jey Uso to be the big baby face of Monday Night Raw, and right now, I don't think he could do that on his own. So this Monday, it's like you got nothing. Like I can honestly see like Monday Night Raw this coming Monday having probably its lowest rated Monday Night Raw, which I know ratings don't matter, blah 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 blah. They matter. They shouldn't matter to us as fans. They matter to everyone else. They matter to like how well is everything going to be. Monday Night Raw went from a 2.2 last week to a 1.8 this week, and with no Cody, no Seth, no Rock, no Roman, probably no Becky unless she's going to win the Women's World Championship because Liv Morgan winning it right off the cuff makes absolutely no sense. Monday Night Raw this coming week is going to struggle. They have nobody. WWE Monday Night Raw's main event scene for like Damian Priest as world champion, just it's cool that he got that shot, but it's like I don't know, man. Even if Finn Balor or Damian Priest turn babyface, they're not big. They're not the big high up stars. They're not on the same level with Seth Rollins or to some people Cody Rhodes. Jey Uso is a little bit higher than them, but it's gonna be really telling without Seth, Cody, Roman, Rock, or any or even Becky more than likely. What this what Monday Night Raw can feel like without any big name? Can Jay bring in fans to be like to bring in fans to make Monday Night Raw interesting? Because this Monday Night Raw, honestly, to me, feels like it's going to be a wash. It's going to be a wash. Like they're not even going to care. They're not going to put any effort in any of that stuff. So, yeah, super long title reigns to me, as I go off a beaten path, they just feel like they're not worth the risk. I mean, yeah, Cody, Roman taking time off to be Roman Reigns, and having it in his contract. Brock Lesnar when he was there too. That's fine. That's in their contract. That's the way to preserve them so they don't have the Rhea Ripley injury happen, which it's a freak accident, of course. It can happen to anybody. Roman Reigns' small little injury he had at WrestleMania 38 could happen to anybody as well. It's just, I just don't see any reason really to give somebody a long title. I mean, hell, Rhea Ripley had her title for 380 days and did what? And it's not her fault because, let's be honest, who are you going to put in the ring with Rhea Ripley that is even worth a damn other than Becky Lynch? Nobody. Not Liv Morgan. Like, to all the Liv stands out there, if Rhea Ripley didn't get injured, Liv Morgan was going to get squashed at Backlash and we were going to move on. The Liv Morgan Revenge Tour would have been over at Backlash and she would move on. So you got to thank your lucky stars that that Rhea Ripley got injured, had to vacate because she would have been a body for Rhea Ripley to beat. And just the way like everything's been for Rhea Ripley, there is absolutely no way that Rhea Ripley was going to lose that championship until WrestleMania 41, probably against, unfortunately, Bianca Belair or maybe even Jade Cargill. Which, oh boy, let's not even talk about that right now. So, I know I'm like all over the place. I'm just like getting into this again. It's been a couple years, but yeah, we're not done yet. Not even close. Yeah. So my thoughts on long title reigns. We don't need them. 150, 150 days. That's a good title reign. Having someone win the title 100 days. I'm sorry, 100 days is a fine title reign. Having the title for a little over 3 months. That's fine. You don't need to go any higher. Another thing about Cody's title reign, which we'll talk about, is that fans are going to find out that Cody Rhodes is better chasing the title than holding the title. Oh, yeah. So, as you all know, last week, AEW got the stupid idea of thinking, let's air All In. Let's go back to All In. Let's go back 7 months. Let's go all the way back to 7 months ago, when AEW was having the biggest events of all time. That this year's All In is not going to top, mind you, is not going to top. We had a little incident, as we all know. It led to CM Punk's firing, and Jack Perry's pretty much exile from AEW for a while, and his eventual showing up in New Japan Pro Wrestling at Battle in the Valley, which that was crazy. Which again, his reason for attacking Shota Umino, just I don't know, that didn't the fact the reason that he attacked Shota Umino, he explained somewhat, is that he sees some of himself, his old former self, in Shota Umino. I'm like, that's the best you got, man. No, no. So CM Punk went on the MMA hour, as you know, and he decided to air some grievances of Tony Khan and All In. And Tony Khan decided, we're going to embarrass this guy. We're going to go out there, we're going to show the truth. The whole truth. And nothing but the truth. They send it to, they have the Young Bucks do it. They have the Young Bucks do it because, heel, blah, 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 blah. They air the footage. It goes exactly how CM Punk said on the MMA Hour. And it does absolutely nothing for AEW. Tony Khan's like, oh, it did this great stuff with Jack Perry. Jack Perry was at this at the Windy City Riot show, and he got this great reaction and all this stuff. And the fan, he's a megastar, and it's like it was in Chicago. It was CM Punk country. It was going to be this reaction regardless of the video. The only thing that was added that would not have been there, at least as far as I know it wouldn't have, was fans chanting, "You choked out," and no, he didn't. You got choked out, no, he didn't, and him doing the choking Shota a little bit. That's all. That's the only difference from what you would have got when Jack Perry got announced for Windy City Riots. There were people all over social media already saying that, man, this guy's gonna get. I can't wait to see what this guy's reaction is gonna be like in Chicago. All these months later, so don't sit there and say, "Oh, this guy's a megastar." They were in Chicago. Chicago is one of the top five wrestling cities in America. You got New York, you got Chicago, you got Los Angeles, somewhere in Texas. I think it's Austin or San Antonio, one of those two, and Seattle. Those are your top five, I believe. Your top five wrestling cities in 2024. The fact that you're going to sit there and pretend that him being in Chicago didn't play a factor. CM Punk country. And now idiots online was like, oh, CM Punk lost to Chicago to the Young Bucks and Jack Perry. It's like, nah, man. He's going to go out on Monday Night Raw next time they go to Chicago or SmackDown, whichever one he's on. And he's going to be as over as possible. Now, giving Jack Perry a little bit something to help himself find whatever. Yes, it shows that he's a scapegoat. We get it. It does show how much of a scapegoat he is and the fact that Tony Khan should have been better, should have did his job. It really made Tony Khan look even worse. The fact that these guys are standing there, we don't know what they say on this video footage because it's security camera security footage, and you don't have audio. I think you can have either or. You have to either have audio or video. You can't have both. But you don't hear this, and it's like these guys are standing right in front of Tony Khan. He's right off camera. He's sitting right there. Is he not paying attention to his top draw, reading the riot act to one of his quote unquote pillars who is dying 1,000 deaths as a heel? Nobody cared about Jack Perry as a heel. When he turned heel and he was doing the feud with Hook, nobody bought it. Nobody. And this footage made Tony Khan look worse. You have fucking Chris Hero sitting right there. He pops up. He's the guy in the pink shirt. That's Chris Hero. You have Chris Hero right there. Tell Chris Hero to get up and separate these two. Go grab Jack. That's like Chris. Go get Jack Perry and get him out of there. And then like you had them standing. It wasn't like CM Punk walked up and immediately shoved him. They're talking. They're saying whatever they're saying. How did nobody get the idea to get up or get over there and grab CM Punk and grab Jack Perry and separate them? No. They let it happen. And this is what caused Tony Khan to fear for his life? Apparently not. Apparently there was other video footage that wasn't shown of where Tony Khan was fearing for his life. But until I see that video footage, this is what we're going at. And this is what got this guy fired? Y'all, some soft motherfuckers if you want to say this is what got CM Punk fired. We've heard worse things that people have gotten into. I guarantee Jericho's brawl fight with Brock Lesnar or his fight with Goldberg got him was worse than this. Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels, worse than this. Batista and Booker T on the set of a commercial was probably worse than this. And this got him fired? Yeah, it popped him a little bit of a rating. And I don't think we're going to get today's ratings. I don't think we're going to get Dynamite's ratings in until tomorrow because of holiday. Well, Friday because of the Labor Day, because of tax day or whatever. But it's like, I don't get it. I don't get why they aired this. And then it just, I just don't get it. Tony Khan tries to double down saying that it made sense. It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense at all. It just made the company look desperate for ratings, which, trust me, WWE has done desperate things for ratings. They have. The $1 Million Mania, remember $1 Million Mania? That entire sham of a competition, that was a ratings ploy from start to finish, and it did not help. So I'm not trying to fault Tony Khan for doing something for ratings. It's a thing. When your ratings are down, you try to do what you can to get the ratings up. It'll be very interesting to see what the ratings look like this week when you have like a Jon Moxley showing up as the IWGP champion. The fact that you advertise that he is going to be in the main event of next week's show. He's not even on the pay-per-view, but for next week's show, he's going to be up against Powerhouse Hobbs. With the fact that it's happening in Jacksonville, the same place that Hobbs one time rescued or saved Jon Moxley from a beatdown from Team Taz. It's going to be very interesting to see where the ratings look like for that. Again, ratings shouldn't matter to us. The Forbes article coming out saying that WWE and AEW and UFC are the top 3 sports combat entities out there in the world. UFC being number 1, WWE number 2, and AEW being number 3. I'm sure that's going to upset a lot of people, including the likes of Eric Bischoff, Jim Cornette, and everyone else. Because they have nothing better to do with their lives. But I'm telling you right now, like, nobody sat there watching this show, watching AEW. It's like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to buy Dynasty. Oh wait, they showed this video footage. I am absolutely buying this Dynasty. Oh, is it going to be in St. Louis? I'm going to be there. No, you didn't sell one extra ticket to Dynasty. You didn't sell one extra pay per view buy. You didn't sell retain viewership at all for this paper for this show. Nothing good came out of this. Did it get Jack Perry some more tickets? Okay, I guess the only thing you can say is that it got some more merch sale for Jack Perry. It did. His scapegoat stuff flew off the shelf off his scapegoat website as soon as the like right after the video footage. Which okay, that's one positive. But for positives for AEW, there were absolutely none. You didn't need this to build up. All you had to do was go. This is going to be in a ladder match. You got us at All In because we weren't completely focused. Yada yada yada. And then all you had to do was go. Yeah, you know what? We're going to do this our way, and we're going to go and put you in a ladder match. That's all you needed. You didn't need the other footage. It did not add to the feud. It makes the Young Bucks look awful when the fact that they couldn't focus on their match, but the guy who actually got into the shoving match had one of the best matches on the show. While and everybody talks about that match to this day, and nobody talks about Bucks versus FTR 3. Just saying. Talk about a series of matches that overhyped and underdelivered. It would be FTR and the Young Bucks. Plain and simple. They underdeliver every time. Just saying. And you know that Tony Khan can sit there and double down on it, but he has done everything he can to erase the footage from social media. In the video they put up on YouTube, the recap, like the scene and everything, they don't even have the video the all in footage in there. So they can sit there and he can try and put on a brave face and say, "Oh, I doubled down on it." No. He regrets it. He doesn't want to say. He doesn't want to have the brain. Doesn't have the cojones to do that. But he regrets it. Couple more things here. Jon Moxley as IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, and it happened at Windy City Riots. I watched the show. I live streamed and watched along on it on Twitch.tv/The France Club. I will be doing that for AEW Dynasty. I have a 12-hour stream coming on Sunday, leading up to and through AEW Dynasty. Check that out there. Twitch.tv/The France Club. But he won the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, beating Tetsuya Naito. He completes what they say is the Global Grand Slam, even though that would be a global triple crown, because the only way that he would finish the Global Grand Slam is by winning the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Don't see that happening, but I digress. Only two other men have the chance to do this if they want to, and that's CM Punk and and Chris Jericho. CM Punk's not doing. He's back in WWE. And Chris Jericho's not doing it because I think his commitments with New Japan are done. So Jon Moxley being the first and only person to ever do this is a great thing. The Shield run professional wrestling with Roman Reigns having his ungodly title reign, Seth Rollins having the first long 300-plus day title reign for the World Heavyweight Championship, and Jon Moxley being the first to win a world championship in the three biggest promotions today. Great stuff. He's going up against Wrestling Non-Taku, which I will be also live streaming that, and then Best of Super Juniors and Resurgence at twitch.tv/The France Club. Come check me live. I'll be there. He is going to be fighting Ren Narita. Then at Resurgence, he'll be fighting Shota Umino. And honestly, if you want somebody to carry the flag of your company, he's done it for AEW all of 2022 mostly after CM Punk got injured and got suspended. Your company's going through a dark time, which we'll talk about the New Japan here in a second. You go to Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley has proven, and I think this is a big factor with how everything went into. I think with the fact that I think Gato and like Tony Khan went over everything that Jon Moxley did for AEW in 2022, being that flag bearer, being the guy to hold that championship as interim champion, as world champion, going from right after from Forbidden Door to All Out, and then Grand Slam to Full Gear as world champion, putting the company on his back. I'm sure Tony Khan talked to Gato about that and showed what Jon Moxley can do for New Japan Pro Wrestling. So for them to put the IWGP World title on him is just a great thing because he could be a guy who works with a Shota Umino, works with a Ren Narita, could work with Yota Tsuji, work with Yuya Uemura, work with these young guys and get them ready to be the megastars and the headliners that New Japan Pro Wrestling needs. We saw it when Yuya Uemura faced Yota Tsuji. Wasn't a good look. They just, like, when you have the young guys wrestling one another, it's not good. It is not good at all. When you have the young guys wrestling a Tetsuya Naito, you have them wrestling a Jeff Cobb or a Will Ospreay as Shota Umino and Yota Tsuji did last year. They rise to the task. They rise up and they have good matches. They need more of that. Shota Umino and Ren Narita had a one-on-one match in Kirk and Hall, and it was very underwhelming. Very underwhelming. These guys are supposed to be like lifelong rivals. Guys who will fight each other for the next 10 years. At each other's throats for the next 10 years. Which we'll talk about what the person who should have been doing this and decided he wanted to tuck tail and run. And why Jon Moxley is going to be that guy for these young guys. And Jon Moxley can hold that title, in my opinion, if Jon Moxley was to hold that title going into the Tokyo Dome and putting over a Yota Tsuji or a Yuya Uemura or a Shota Umino, most likely Shota Umino, or a Ren Narita, doubtful, he would be the guy. He would help New Japan along the way. You're not going to see Jon Moxley. You know you have Jon Moxley going to be at the Homecoming or, the Dynamite next week in Jacksonville, which is good, which is great. You're definitely going to see just how, he could miss, and this is another thing, and it's definitely hurting New Japan AEW. Jon Moxley, yesterday was the first time we saw Jon Moxley since Revolution. And as soon as he walked out there, first time on the show from that point on felt different. You could definitely tell that Jon Moxley is being away from that show hurt AEW. Will Ospreay will be the guy eventually, but he's not the guy yet. He's not. Eventually, he will face Jon Moxley, not while he's IWGP World Champion. But he will eventually face Jon Moxley and eventually beat Jon Moxley. He's got Bryan Danielson this week, and Bryan Danielson obviously is going to put him over, as he should. But there's that. Jon Moxley going away and having time off from AEW, it hurts AEW, but AEW needs this. They need to work on the young guys. They need to work on the Ospreays, the Kyle Fletchers, the Powerhouse Hobbs. Get these guys, men and women, who are going to be there when Jon Moxley hangs it up. Or eventually has to retire because of injuries or whatnot. You need to get these guys, these men and women, to where Jon Moxley is right now. Will Ospreay's on his way there. Guy comes out, he's one of the most over guys in the company. Hasn't even been here for 3 months, and he's already one of the most over guys. You need more of that. Swerve Strickland should be winning the AEW World Championship this coming Sunday. Easy. Period. You can't, AEW can rely on Jon Moxley for only a little bit of time. They can't just continue to rely on Jon Moxley, Kenny Omega, who's out too, Bryan Danielson, who's going to be going to a very, very limited schedule coming up very soon, and everything else. So, while Jon Moxley is helping get New Japan up to standards again, AEW needs to be working on their crop of talent. And let's talk about those departures from New Japan Pro Wrestling before we get into what I have less to talk about. Scott D'Amore, we'll talk about that here in a bit, but as we know, beginning of the year, Kazuchika Okada, Will Ospreay, Tama Tonga all left New Japan Pro Wrestling. Every single one of them. And let's just be honest here. Tama Tonga is not that big of a loss. I mean, he was there for 14 years, Tama Tonga, in my opinion, is a good hand. He's not somebody you're going to put the IWGP or the World Heavyweight Championship on. He's somebody you can get the mid-card championship to and have him be a guy who can go out there, fight for the world title, but not win it. Like Tama Tonga honestly could be somebody who, if built right, could be somebody who in say 6 to 9 months fights a Cody Rhodes or a Seth Rollins or a Damian Priest or whoever the world champions are and loses to them but gives them a good match. He's not Tonga Loa. Tonga Loa is absolutely dreadful by himself, or he's doing it because he's just pissed that he's stuck there by himself now. Tama Tonga is, of course, joined the bloodline. To me, he doesn't make any sense because, yeah, he's the son of Haku, but in my opinion, I think he should have went to NXT and joined up with the Good Brothers to have their own little mini Bullet Club connection and run NXT and fight over NXT. But he left, which I'm going to say this now. Tama Tonga heel, so much better than Tama Tonga babyface. Tama Tonga babyface was fine. No problems with it. But Tama Tonga heel, that's where his bread and butter is. Then obviously we had Will Ospreay, who decided he was done getting paid pennies and wanted to come make real money in AEW and become the face of a company that would actually put the ball in his corner and let him run with it. New Japan Pro Wrestling, it's one of those things that they're very traditional with a lot of things. And yes, they had their gaijins. They put the world titles on the gaijins. I mean, the title that Jon Moxley holds right now, Will Ospreay, was, they believe, the second person to hold that title. But when Will Ospreay was world champion, it never felt like he was the guy. He never felt like the guy that they were going to strap the rocket to and build the company around. That's just not how New Japan works. That has never been how New Japan works. The last person they did that with, the last person they tried that with, of course, was Kenny Omega. They wanted that guy to be the guy, the absolute guy for them. And then Kenny Omega left and went to WWE and went to AEW and built up AEW. So that's still something that I'm sure burns New Japan Pro Wrestling, even though it's not the same company, the same people running it. But it is definitely one of those things that they are not going to go out there. And yeah, right now you have Jon Moxley. He's going to help. He's like him going up and having barn burner matches with the young guys is going to help them. But he's not going to be somebody who 5 years from now they're going to rely on. They need to have somebody like a Shota Umino. Like, I would love to see Gabe Kidd become the top gaijin in New Japan Pro Wrestling. The dude is a madman. He goes crazy. The fans love everything that he does. Like, it's ridiculous, like, the reactions that this guy gets just for being a nasty heel that he's supposed to be. And the fans love it. The fans, like, the New Japan fans, they are, like, he is over as a guy when he's sitting there beating the piss out of a Shingo Takagi. Shingo and him are going back and forth. That's what people want to see. But Ospreay's was doing it for 8 years and never felt like he was going to be the guy. Going to be that guy. Be the guy that they could just spend and do a super... If they want to do super long title runs, because New Japan likes doing those super long title runs, there was no way that they were going to go out there and allow somebody like Will Ospreay to have the big time moments that you had like Kenny Omega. I mean, hell, they wouldn't even give Will Ospreay the G1. They gave that to Kenny Omega, but they would not give it to Ospreay. So why the hell would Ospreay want to stick somewhere? Like, Ospreay could absolutely go through the Continental Classic this year and win it. Absolutely. But he should be AEW World Champion by then, so that shouldn't matter who'll be next year. And then, of course, the biggest departure, the biggest shocker of the departures was Kazuchika Okada. I think if you would have looked back at last year and said that Okada was going to be leaving to New Japan Pro Wrestling 1 year later, absolutely not. Nobody would ever have thought that Okada would ever leave New Japan Pro Wrestling. And we'll never know exactly why, but I feel that Okada saw the writing on the wall. He saw Yota Tsuji come back. He saw Yuya Uemura come back. He saw Ren Narita come back. He saw Shota Umino come back. He saw that the company themselves named Shota Umino, Ren Narita, and Yota Tsuji as the Riway era Three Musketeers. And Kazuchika Okada did not want to work with these guys. He did not want to help the company. He did not want to put these guys over. He did not want to bite by the business. Okada showed that he was in the business for himself. And in my opinion, that's utter bullshit. The fact that Kazuchika Okada spent majority of last year, 85% of last year, 85% of last year, Kazuchika Okada was 1/3 of the Never Openweight 6-man tag team champions. What? Why? Why was he not working with the Shota Umino? And here's the thing. He had a match, a tag team match with him and Tanahashi. I believe it was the finals of last year's New Japan Cup. Tanahashi and Okada versus Shota Umino and Ren Narita. Okay. Here's a way for the old guard to give some time to, some to the new guard and let them have, some offense on them and show that these guys are the future. No. That didn't work for Okada and Tanahashi, man. They went out there and they buried Shota Umino. They buried Ren Narita. Buried them. Beat the brakes off of them. Didn't let them get any at all offense in at all. And just said, nope, you're not worth our time. We're going to bury your asses. And that was that. That was the only match that Kazuchika Okada, singles match, or match that was focused on them that Okada had with any of the new guys. So he goes to the G1, he puts over Ospreay, puts over Naito on Naito's journey to getting his fucking roll call, because that roll call was so fucking important over putting over a Shota Umino, Ren Narita, or Yota Tsuji. We had to give fucking Naito his goddamn roll call. Give me a fucking break. A guy who, once his eyes start to betray him again, is going to have to retire. He's on borrowed time. He has some kind of eye ailment that he can only have surgery on his eyes 3 times, and he's had his 3rd surgery so he can have this title run that he had. And once that ailment starts coming back, his time is done. He's done. He can't do it anymore. So they give him this fucking roll call because, hey, let's focus on somebody who's ailing and aging over the young guys who we should be focusing on. 2023 and 2024 should have been building up the young guys, and New Japan Pro Wrestling failed all 4 of them. All of them. Failed them. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. Why New Japan Pro Wrestling decided to do what they did. But yeah, and Okada, in my opinion, is left New Japan Pro Wrestling. He's moving to America apparently to get away from New Japan Pro Wrestling, to leave so he doesn't have to put the young guys over. I think that he left New Japan Pro Wrestling because he was scared of being overshadowed. And he wanted to be selfish. He put absolutely nobody over. Every one of his matches on the way out, he won every single one of them. He looks selfish. He looks greedy. He didn't help the business at all. He left New Japan, and shame on Gato, or whoever the hell is booking New Japan Pro Wrestling, for letting Okada get away with that. Letting Okada go out of his way to bury your company, bury every single one of your talents that you should be focusing on. You should be building for the next 10 years. Now, those men are behind schedule. You want them to be the absolute faces of your company, and yet you didn't have your biggest draw set in the last 12 years to help work with them at all, except for that one match last year where they buried 2 of them. Pathetic. One last thing here, let's talk about the Scott D'Amore thing. I mean, the state of TNA, it's in my opinion, it's not good. like TNA comes back out the beginning of this year, Hard to Kill. We get the whole TNA's coming back, cool for them, blah blah blah. Everyone loves it, and it was one of the highest grossing shows. It was one of their most viewed shows in a very long time. Every TNA fan who was still around and wanted to come back in was excited. They were happy. They got to see the TNA was back. Everything was going good, and then Scott D'Amore gets fired in February. And all the goodwill that TNA, Scott D'Amore, and everyone around them built up, gone. And now they have an event coming up that's like seats 1,000 people, and they haven't even sold 400 tickets to this event. Like, this company was on the cusp of a rebound, and it's funny because TNA gets their name back, TNA, and dumb fucks online were like, "Oh, they passed up AEW as the number two wrestling company in the world," and it's like, you're fucking stupid. They can't even draw 2,000. They can't even draw 1,000 people to their events. They can't even draw 500, and they're not gonna. Even if they were drawing bigger crowds, they're on Access TV still. And the fact that they're on Access TV and Scott D'Amore is not there anymore, more people are gonna want to leave. Josh Alexander, Jordan Grace, Moose, and others put the little hourglass thing. They already lost the Motor City Machine Guns. Motor City Machine Guns are gone. They're coming to AEW. Subculture is left. They couldn't make a deal with Subculture because the TNA doesn't want to, or Anthem doesn't want to pay out for some talents. Couldn't get financially done. Scott D'Amore had the heart, had the passion. This dude, when he got back into power, went to Japan, went to New Japan Pro Wrestling. I think Don Callis helped with this, but went to New Japan Pro Wrestling, found Kazuchika Okada, and publicly apologized to Kazuchika Okada himself for the treatment that Kazuchika Okada was treated in TNA when Kazuchika Okada was in TNA all the 13 years ago. He went there 5 years or so ago, 6 years ago, and apologized. Rebuilt the bridge between TNA and Impact Wrestling at the time, but Impact TNA and New Japan Pro Wrestling. Brought Don Callis in. They helped revitalize TNA, and Don Callis eventually left, came to AEW, and just he was the heart and soul of that company. And now, yeah, I'm not saying that you can say, oh, doom and gloom. People still want to watch TNA. You got Ash by Elegance, which is awfully stupid. You have Joe Hendry there, which is great. You have Moose as the world champion. I love the whole fact that Alex Shelley got to be TNA world champion before anyone else. I love their new belts. I think that's great. Those TNA world titles look great on them. But it's like, is TNA going anywhere? No, I don't think so, but it's not in a good state. It went from being like the hottest, it was the hottest name. I mean, you had Jordan Grace at the Royal Rumble. Jordan Grace at the Royal Rumble, who for like a week or so was saying that we need more TNA WWE crossover, and then Scott D'Amore got fired, and then that's silent for a while. That went silent for a while. I know Nick Khan said something about working with other promotions in one of his interviews, so she started saying that again. But yeah, TNA could be doing a lot of great things. And I don't want to see TNA fail. I don't want to see any wrestling promotion go out of business because that's people losing their jobs. Like, anybody who wants to see AEW go out of business, I don't understand why. I don't get why you want to see a company go out of business and see everybody who works there, everybody who is contracted there, all the talent. And it's not just wrestling talent. There are producers, there are cameramen, camera women, referees, all these people. Why would you want to see them lose their jobs? Why? I don't understand it. It just doesn't make any sense to me why people are like that. Let's talk about the state of AEW because the Forbes article came out with all that, and AEW's fine. AEW is doing just fine. This Wednesday's episode that we had with them focusing on the pay-per-view coming up was a home run. It was definitely what AEW needed to focus on. No more bullshit, no more nothing. We just need them to focus on them. No more shots need to be taken at WWE. I do not give a shit what WWE does, what WWE says. Focus on you. They're going to be critical of you because they can. Let you know how you prove them wrong. You go out there, you have the best damn TV show and the best damn pay-per-view that you can have. Dynasty looks like it's going to be a great show coming up. So just sit there, shut up, stop worrying about the other company. TNA, of course, when they started out, were taking shots at WWE. They don't do that anymore. Neither should AEW. I don't understand what is the benefit of taking shots. Yes, I understand Will Ospreay going after Triple H because Triple H had no business to really go out there and say that he's a grind runner. He runs from the grind. Give me a break. And then, of course, the last thing I want to talk about is Cody Rhodes winning the WWE Championship, finishing his story. And will he be the guy? Will he be the man to carry WWE into this new era? I swear, if I hear anybody continue to beat into a head new era, I'm going to have my brain is going to explode. We get it. We get it. This is the Triple H this is the Triple H era. The old man is gone. We're not going to say his name on this thing at all. He is the old man. His name is not. He's persona non grata. Otherwise, we get it. It's not his era. It's new. Kevin Dunn's no longer there. You have this new guy there who's giving you great camera angles. You got new World Tag Team titles. The WWE Tag Team titles are gonna probably look like the WWE Championship and the WWE Women's Championship. We get it. You don't have to continue to beat it down. We'll see how things go. But ratings wise, Cody Rhodes is starting to dip. He's starting to dip. People are already getting like we want Cody. Like people are like, oh, it's just people in the IWC. The IWC is minor. Everything that you see happen starts in the IWC. People are gonna get. This is the thing, and this is why Cody Rhodes should not hold the title for very long. Look at Stone Cold Steve Austin, the biggest name in the Attitude Era. One of the biggest names in this company. Do you think he had a world title reign that lasted very long? Hell no. Stone Cold's longest title reign was his last world title reign that happened during the Invasion time. Every other time before that, he did not have a title reign go over to 100 days. Why should Cody Rhodes hold the title for a year? He doesn't need to. Cody Rhodes' stories are better if he's chasing. Yes, he can hold the title till SummerSlam if he wants, and then he loses it, and then he has to chase. Honestly, I think Randy Orton should be the one he faces at SummerSlam. It's not going to be The Rock. Randy beats him. Randy beats him. There is more money to have Cody Rhodes chasing the championship than there is him holding the championship. It's the same thing with Tetsuya Naito and why he lost the championship to Jon Moxley at Windy City Rides. There's more money in a babyface. Somebody as over as Cody as chasing than being champion. I'm not saying he should lose it at Backlash. I'm not saying he should lose it at Money in the Bank. I'm not saying he should lose it at King and Queen of the Ring, which they need to come with a better name for that pay-per-view besides King and Queen of the Ring. That's just way too fucking long. If you have him be champion for an entire year and he's beating everybody, he beats a Drew McIntyre, he beats a CM Punk, he beats a Seth Rollins, he beats a Randy Orton, he beats an AJ Styles, he beats an LA Knight, he beats everybody. Fans are going to turn on him. Everybody's going to get on the underdog babyface, the guy who has everything against him. And Cody Rhodes had everything against him. The Bloodline, the Final Boss, Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, Jimmy Uso, Jay last year. All these other factors were against him. People are going to get behind that. Now he doesn't have anything against him. He is the champion. People are going to get fed up with it. This is why when he was in AEW, people got fed up with him, is because he was beating everybody. He beat Malachi Black. He beat everybody they put in front of him. He beat Andrade. He beat this person. He beat that person. It's just like with John Cena. John Cena. And then they're saying he's the new age John Cena. Well, you do realize that John Cena was booed for majority of his title runs, majority of his run. And you're not gonna have Cody Rhodes as the guy for the next 10 fucking years. Get the fuck out of here. The dude was contemplating retiring next year. John, you have maybe 5 years for Cody Rhodes. But to him to be champion for an entire year, he does. Here's the thing: if you want Cody Rhodes versus Rock next year at WrestleMania for the title, he doesn't have to be a champion for the entire year. He could lose it at SummerSlam to Randy Orton, win it back at the Royal Rumble, and then go into WrestleMania as a champion against The Rock. It's not that difficult. You can have, and Cody Rhodes could be a two-time WWE champion. He doesn't have to be a champion because if Cody Rhodes goes into WrestleMania next year as champion, holding the title for a full year, and he beats The Rock, people are going to be pissed if he's beating everybody from Randy Orton to AJ Styles to LA Knight to Kevin Owens. They're going to have to turn people. Here's another reason why I don't like long title runs. Because you have to take talent who are either great as a babyface, and if you have like Cody Rhodes as a champion, he's going to hold an entire year. You have to turn people heel who should not be turning heel at this time just to get somebody for Cody Rhodes to beat. Randy Orton turning heel makes sense. That would make the most sense. It's the best story. If you don't have The Rock for SummerSlam, the best fucking story for Cody Rhodes into SummerSlam is Randy Orton and Randy beats him. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton 2 could be at the next Saudi show, and Randy Orton wins again. But on that third attempt at the Royal Rumble, Cody Rhodes beats Randy Orton, becoming a two-time champion, and going to WrestleMania as champion. He doesn't have to hold the title the entire year. He got his moment. But man, you can see the comment sections on all these videos and stuff. The bland promos. There was literally no motherfucking reason for him to go out on Monday Night Raw. Cut the same, yay, we won, woo! All he had to do on Monday was go out there and be like, listen guys, this is my last Monday Night Raw, unless I get drafted here. I'm heading over to SmackDown to defend this title against everybody and anybody, and bring out Jey Uso, do the thing with Jey Uso, and then move on. That's all he had to do. It's like, yeah, you're like, when AJ Styles beats LA Knight and you get AJ Styles versus Cody Rhodes, which Cody Rhodes did say, and this clip was brought up on the Broken Skull session when they do that 30 seconds, when they were doing that like 30 and 30 questions in 30 seconds thing, he said his favorite dream match would be AJ Styles. That is when things will matter. Honestly, in my opinion, you didn't even have to have Cody Rhodes on Monday. You did not have to have Cody Rhodes on Monday to let us know that he was going to be on SmackDown from here on out. But they did what they did. Cody Rhodes cannot go out there and continue to be emotional. I mean, yes, it's fine for men to show emotion, but the dude cries too much. Like, they show that video of him receiving the watch that his father pawned so he can go, I think, learn to be a wrestler. And he got emotional in that, which is fine. It would be better if he wasn't crying every other turn, every other show that he is on. People are going to get tired of that. I do not want to see Cody Rhodes, with the mention of his father, ever again cry. If he's crying, you're going to turn more people off. Cody Rhodes needs to have some kind, like, even if he's not going to turn heel, he can have a little bit of a heel edge to him to change him a little bit. He doesn't have to be heel. He doesn't have to flaunt his millions or flaunt his vehicles he comes in. He can just be Cody, and that's all he needs to be. He needs to add a little bit to it, because Cody just being Cody, it doesn't work as much. But yeah, obviously, if you can't make, people say SummerSlam versus The Rock makes the most sense. If Rock is available, you go with that match. If Rock is not available, you go Roman. You go Cody, Randy. You go Cody and Randy. Cody and Randy. Cody loses to Randy Orton. And you could do it where Randy Orton isn't heel yet. You go Cody, Randy, one-on-one, babyface versus babyface Cody, which obviously people be like, oh, Randy's going to turn heel. He's going to be like whatever. then that's fine. It's a fight. It's gonna be people like yes when Randy Orton kicks him in the balls, hits him with the RKO with the ref not looking, and beats him for the WWE Championship. It'll give something for Cody to chase. You didn't beat me fair and square. You stole that championship from me. I want it back, and we're gonna settle this one way or another at the next Saudi show or whatever. And there you go. You have something for Cody to do for the remainder of the year, getting his WWE Championship back. And he does it at the Royal Rumble. The winner of the Royal Rumble, of course, goes on, which should be Walter. I think Walter, and I will not call him his current name. Walter should win the Royal Rumble, challenging whomever the world champion is going into WrestleMania for that championship. That's just me. But guys, I want to thank you all. If anybody checks this out, hit that subscribe button, comment down below. Let me know what you think of everything that I talked about here today. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video, and I will see you whenever I pull another one of these. This is not going to be like an annual, like weekly, daily, whatever thing. It's whenever I feel like coming on here. Until then, my name is Franz, and I'll see you guys later.